Welcome back to another video on Gearsaw Studios, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build yourself this little Riverside base. You can build this without even full diamond armor, very simple, and of course there are some things like lanterns and the leads you will need a little bit of iron, but you can skip those for now. You can build this very quickly, survival friendly, and anyone can do it. So without further ado, let's investigate how we'd actually do it. To begin, let's get ourselves a nice riverside. And we can see here, we're against a cliff. We have a flat face here that I carved into, and generally this is a good location. We have access here to the oceans and such, and of course we just have mountains around that we can use. So that's a good thing. Now let's excavate maybe 7 blocks in, 7 by 3, and this is just to get our stuff going. We want the crafting table, the chests, whatnot. I expect you to be able to do this literally on your first night when you only have copper or stone tools. Go in here, just place all your stuff, and set up base for the night before you actually start doing anything. Place a boat outside, and then you can get your initial things in order. With our initial area carved out, now we need to get ourselves a little bit of a dock. And this is pretty easy. We're going to have some polished andesite, no tuff needed, and we're just going to go around with this stair slab pattern. Should be pretty quick to do. Then let's fill up this outside area with spruce planks. This will just be for some preliminary stuff, like we can put chest boats out here and have a little bit more storage. Additionally, we can also start filling in this area with some spruce and connect our two things. Right here, you can see it's about 6 blocks long. The exact numbers do not matter. I don't particularly find the value in giving exact numbers usually, so if you have a different shape of terrain, go ahead and use it to its fullest. But right here, let's carve away a little bit more of this cliffside, but let's not get rid of all of it. In fact, let's try terraforming it. Very simplistic stuff. We're not going to go all crazy with moss and such, but make sure that our stone is just a little bit more interesting, like this, where we make it look a bit more like a cave. That way, the base just looks more interesting, has a bit more personality, stuff like that. So let's have that carved through these spruce planks, and then inside here, let's have a door. This will be the main part of our base, and it's going to be built directly into the rocks. Right here, I've terraformed the side to give it more of a cave-like look, like there used to be a cave here, and now I've turned it into a house. We've petrified a lot of the nearby dirt. You will have to do a bit of smelting for this. And of course, we have this dock here, completely unbuilt, but still. And if you want, you can also incorporate some stairs and slabs into this to get more of a carved look. However, that looks significantly less natural, so be careful. Then, adding some torches, let's begin with the actual house. Right here, we have some spruce logs going side to side, and we're going to have these go across the whole build. Since the whole thing is going to be, besides this little piece here, completely inside, we don't have to worry terribly much about measurements. We can build almost whatever we want in here, as long as, it looks decent. And occasionally, you might even find a cave. I did not plan for this, but you can see, it's just a little small cave connected to some other ones. No big deal. I can fill it in, or I could even add a door to it, connect it to the rest of the stuff. Maybe you accidentally connect into a giant cave like this one. Well, you can definitely adjust your base as needed. But let's focus on just the house. We're going to have birch flooring. Then for the door, let's try basic oak door. For the walls, let's have some oak planks, not oak stripped logs, like this. Although you could make this one work. It looks very cool actually. You know what? I'm going to keep it like that. So we're going to have some of those. And also, you can choose your ceiling height. And this will change your build a ton. Because if you keep it at 3 blocks, you can see very cramped, small, stuff like that. If you have it at 4 blocks, then it feels a lot more open. It's up to you what you want to do on this one. But regardless, let's continue across and leave this area. There's a reason why I put the door on the right. Leave this area unfinished because we're going to add a little bit more in here. Right here, you can see I've made a pretty dramatic change, and this will require you to go into somewhere like an old growth spruce forest, stuff like that. We have some azaleas going around, and of course we need a pair of shears in order to get this a little bit of iron, but still, With these, I placed them all around the build and had them go in strands, replacing bits of stone here and there, and you can see how it looks really cozy. I intentionally build without shaders, I only turned them on for the ending, and what do you know? It looks really cozy in here. Then, when we go inside, of course, are quite expensive walls. If you do not have the resources to do this, just use planks. And we can see we have something going on. I'm going to be using something called the rule of 5 to build this. Essentially, we have 3 blocks and then a pillar. So that way, every 5 blocks is a repeating pattern. So let me demonstrate here. We have pillar here, then we're going to have a pillar here. Then we have 3 blocks between, and we have torches on these pillars. So now, it looks really good. And additionally, let's get in a little bit more spruce like this. So let's add stairs, and then we can add them like this, going all around. And of course, if you have a very small area like this, you might have varying mileage, but we have that. We can hang a lantern. Of course, I'm going to be using a bit more expensive stuff as we go on because, well, hopefully you get a little bit of iron. If you don't worry. You can just add a sign saying add this later. That way, you don't have to stop watching the whole video and then get the resources, whatnot. I know how this all works. It's not fun having to go out get lanterns when you're poor. But now we can add lanterns when we can, and then we're going to have this unique little ceiling pattern, and then we can have it like this. So you see, we have stair, slab, stair. Alternatively, block, slab, block. And this adds a lot to the build, and we can add more pillars as we go in order to give it more of that hobbit cozy vibe without going complete hobbit hole with the entrance and such. So let's go through and add all this, and of course more birch floors, and eventually we'll add a few utilities like crafting tables, furnaces, whatnot. And when we do that, don't forget, we can also build into the wall. And when we do that, let's add a little bit of andesite to make it look like we had to bolt it together. So like this, and when we add our furnaces here. Very cozy ideas here, where we want it nice, small, built into the walls, make it look a bit imperfect, you know? Right here, I sculpted a bit more of this cave entrance using the stairs and slabs, and it's up to you whether you like that. It can certainly be a little bit pricey in the early game. But fortunately, all this, you'll probably have enough cobblestone, smelt it down with some logs or leaf litter, stuff like that, and then you'll have this. Additionally, let's add a little bit more stone here to make it look a little less perfect. So we have that going on, we can use the stairs, and what do you know, we have a stone here to make it look somewhat unfinished, and we can go inside. And you can see, it's a very cute, quaint little house. So I continue with that log style where we have these little arches, and then right here we have the spruce, in the middle we have a log above with the lanterns, of course, optional for now. And then in the walls we have our important stuff. Furnaces, extra things, smithing table, anvil. And then we have this little nook, we have our chest for things like just crafting only, like sticks. Then we have some furnaces, crafting table, just a little bit of a plant here, very basic stuff. If you have these, then you can definitely do the leaves outside. And then we have this wall of chests. The top is slabs, so that way we can open them. Use item frames to sort them. And then right here, we have something representing a mine. We can go down with the corkscrew method, or we could use a bubble elevator, however you like getting up and down fast. And then right here, we have ourselves a thin pillar in the middle. You could just remove this pillar actually, and then carpet there. So now a little bit more open. And then we have 2 beds, so that way you can have 2 players here, or maybe just a stolen villager, who knows. And then we have some paintings to give it a little bit more, candles. Of course, you can do this later, because, you know, candles require bees and all that, but still, this is a perfectly livable base. Very small, but it's cute. But we can go back to the outside and add a little bit more. How do I make this more than just a little hole in the wall? Well, of course, this dock here. Let's add some barrels and some boats around, maybe some fences. We can tie stuff up, and potentially you can just add anything like a bridge. Of course, I'm not going to do a whole bridge, that would be its own tutorial, but all that, let's think of it, what do you need? So if you need something, add it. And of course, if you need help with anything, comment down below. I'm not exclusive for any of this, like you don't have to pay me, I'll just answer all your questions. So yeah, let's add our finishing touches. Right here, you can now see the finished product. and not terribly much changed, but I did turn on vibrant visuals by swapping the world to Bedrock Edition, because I can just do that. But here's what I've added. Under the water, we have some pillars made of the andesite going down. And then, let's go up. Right here, we have some barrels. It's just a pile of barrels. We have some candles, more of these leaves. I expanded the stone even further. But we also have some particles now. These are firefly bushes, and they're hidden completely within the walls. Use some bone meal, duplicate them, and then place them inside the walls, and now you get this effect. Looks very good with emissive graphics. And then, let's take a look inside to see what it looks like with vibrant visuals. You can see, very, very bright. Maybe a little bit too bright, but still, we can see how it really comes together. Very small build. Finally, something that I put out saying starter that's actually a starter build, rather than, whatever that is over there. Well, we have something that you could build probably in a few days in Minecraft. You start with this little structure here by digging into the wall, and then you make a little plantation, get the logs for the walls, and of course you need your spruce, and then you can build the rest over the course of your Minecraft playthrough, and what do you know, you have this. You don't even need diamonds to build this. This is something you could get before you have full diamond armor, quite reasonably as well. So either way, it's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, remember, please like and subscribe, it really helps me out. Either way, enjoy the rest of your day. Gearsaw out.